Riley County Police are investigating after someone reportedly stole a vehicle from a car dealership this week in Manhattan. Officers filed a report Tuesday morning for motor vehicle theft at Briggs Auto after a 2016 Chevy Silverado and a separate Kansas temporary tag were both stolen from the lot. The total estimated loss is over $20,000. No arrests have been made as of Wednesday. Police are asking anyone with information to contact Crime Stoppers. Strategies on how to best fund Manhattan's Parks and Recreation Department were discussed Tuesday night as city staff now look to an August deadline to finalize a potential 1% sales tax initiative. The city is aiming to create a dedicated Parks and Rec fund and remove the department from the city's general fund. Interim City Manager Jason Hilgers explains.
1% sales tax, in our estimation, would generate enough revenue to operate not only the department independently as a special revenue fund, much like we do for water, sewer, or storm. This would generate enough revenue along with the revenue they generate within the department to sustain it.
Commissioners Karen McCullough and John Mata were both skeptical of such strategy, which would also look at a revenue stream for a potential indoor aquatic center in Manhattan by 2030. Commissioner Peter Opelt says he believes the dedicated revenue stream for Parks and Rec makes sense.
My concern is if we are not competitive with things like parks, because I consider parks to be vital to a healthy community, those financial difficulties are just going to become more difficult because we will have fewer people.
Mayor Susan Adamczyk agreed.
I was initially a little bit skeptical about the idea of having this dedicated funding stream for Parks and Rec, but have come to appreciate it, looking a little bit at the history here in Manhattan and understanding how it's an easy pot to raid sometimes.
No formal action was taken Tuesday. More discussion is planned over the summer. The city staff estimates the sales tax, if approved, could bring in $15 million annually to Parks and Rec.
Welcome to the Flash Finds Podcast, the world's fastest podcast where we explore how Facebook can help you with the stuff you're into. I'm Emma Rogue, joined by Nathan the Cat Lady, a Facebook creator. So Nathan, if you're into pets, what kind of stuff can you find on Facebook?
Well, I make reels about useful tips for pet owners. For instance, cats don't like still water, so all of my cats have cat fountains.
Oh my gosh, that's so cute. What a great episode. See you next time on the Flash Finds Podcast, all about discovering the stuff on Facebook you care about. Bye.
The Manhattan City Commission also approved 2 amendments Tuesday, making it unlawful to park longer than 48 hours on city streets or parking lots, and also requires users to register their vehicles on the Park mobile app. The change is set to take place August 1st, but the Manhattan Area Chamber of Commerce wants to delay this until 2025 because of concerns it will interfere with scheduled conferences. Mayor Susan Adamczyk believes delaying the amendments would cost the city a lot of much-needed revenue.
I can appreciate that these conferences have already been told something regarding their parking. I understand wanting to stay, have a goodwill exchange with companies downtown. But are we giving away a whole lot of money that we could be using to fix the elevator and put in the license plate readers and fix the exit signs and make sure that street sweepers are in there on a regular basis and a lot of other things?
The 13-year-old elevator in the downtown garage failed its recent inspection and has been out of service now for over a month. The Chamber of Commerce recommended using transit guest tax funds to fulfill already signed contracts so that those conference goers can park for free. Commissioner Opelt supported the idea as long as newly signed contracts abide by the new ordinances.
If we can just limit this to the conferences that are under contract already, I think that kind of minimize, we would have the bulk of it, this year, the rest of this year into next year, but I think it would start to minimize and then start to see some return on that.
Commissioners will return June 4th for a second reading to adopt the resolution. Speakers from various institutions gathered Tuesday at Manhattan's Peace Memorial Auditorium to discuss the significance of seatbelt usage and road safety. Colonel Charles Montgomery from the 1st Infantry Division detailed the importance for soldiers to buckle up.
The number one most deadliest thing a soldier encounters every day is driving a vehicle. So it doesn't matter where combat operations right now have about 350 people in harm's way in Jordan and in Yukon. It doesn't matter. Driving every day is the most deadliest thing our soldiers see.
Are you looking for a view of the world that's a bit different? Hi, I'm Jason Palmer, a host of The Weekend Intelligence, a podcast from The Economist. Join us to hear the stories that matter most to our correspondents and editors. Every Saturday, we introduce you to people and ideas that take you outside the ordinary and expand your horizons one episode at a time. Join us and see the world from a new perspective. To listen free until May 31st, search Spotify for The Weekend Intelligence.
Also speaking at the event, RCPD Director Brian Peet.
3 seconds is how long it takes to buckle a seatbelt for me before a car is put into drive. 3 seconds is also how long it takes to tell other passengers to buckle up. In my lifetime and career, I've been to far too many incidences where 3 seconds it took to decide whether or not to wear a seatbelt led to the serious injury or death of a loved one.
Yesterday's event, part of KDOT's Drive to Zero Traffic Deaths Click It or Ticket statewide campaign. The Flint Hills Breadbasket will soon be getting a new home. Executive Director Carla Hagemeister announced on Tuesday the organization's plans to relocate, noting the physical space has exceeded capacity at 905 Yuma. Hagemeister noted how many families had been helped just on Tuesday alone.
We opened at 2 o'clock, and I refreshed my computer at 6 p.m., and we had welcomed 95 households today alone. 4 of those households were new, and out of that represents 263 people served in one day.
Utilization of the Breadbasket services has increased since 2022 from about 476 visits in May of that year to over 1,600 visits in April 2024. Hagemeister says on average they serve 90 to 100 new families each month with no signs of slowing down.
I want to extend my thanks to city staff who have fielded many questions and ideas for me over the past months and in the past 40 years.
Where the new location will be hasn't been announced, but Hagemeister says stay tuned. That will be made public in the near future.
The most exciting part of a vacation stay at a home rental? Easy. It's being greeted upon arrival with a rusted lockbox affixed to the underside of a stranger's condo. Yeah, you simply twist knobs, click gears, jiggle it, and then rip it off its moorings, and voila! Your prize is a key to a questionable home rental and maybe tetanus. When you just want to get your vacation started by actually getting into your room, it matters where you stay. At Hilton, we deliver your key right to your phone on the Hilton Honors app. Hilton, for the stay.
K-State baseball is moving on in the Big 12 tournament as Owen Borma led the way on the mound, going the distance, and the offense scored 7 runs in the fourth to down a talented West Virginia squad 8-4 on Wednesday morning. The Cats ace struck out 10 on the day and threw a season-high 131 pitches, allowing 4 runs on 7 hits. Borma's complete game set the record for the longest outing in an NCAA game held at Globe Life Field. Well, the Cats now move on to another breakfast baseball game this morning in an elimination contest against TCU. First pitch again is at 9 a.m. Pre-game coverage at 8:30 here on News Radio KMAN. The winner of that game will play the loser of KU and Oklahoma tomorrow morning at 9 a.m. Their first pitch is at 12:30. Yesterday, K-State football announced its kickoff time for its Friday contest on September 13th against Arizona. That'll be a 7 o'clock kickoff as it will be televised on the brand new Fox College Football Friday. It is the first time the Cats have played a home weeknight game since playing on a Thursday night in 2015 against Baylor, and their first Friday night game in Manhattan since 2013 when they played the then number 1 team in the FCS, North Dakota State, and then defensive coordinator Chris Kleiman. Starting today, state softball and baseball get underway in various locations in Kansas. Locally, we have 2 softball teams heading to 4A state in Salina. Leading off will be the number 2 seed in the tournament, and that is the defending 4A state champions in Wamego. They're 22-4, as today they'll take on 7 seed Clearwater at 3 o'clock. Yesterday, I caught up with Wamego softball coach Luke Meyer, who says their mindset heading into state as the reigning state champions isn't very different from their previous 3 trips to state.
I don't think our mindset changes much. We still have the same goal in mind that we had last year. It's different teams, different time, different players. So, just excited for the opportunity to go compete, but our mindset really doesn't change much.
And their opponent, Clearwater, who's 20-7 on the year, is going to be a tough team to face.
This is their 3rd consecutive year going. We played them in 22 in the 3rd and 4th place game. And they were a young team at that point in time, so they're going to be experienced, and they've got a little bit of target on our back to get a little bit of revenge from 2 years ago. But they're going to be a tough opponent, coming out of that league that they played down there. They're going to be a quality opponent, so we'll need to show up and be on point for sure.
The last game in the 4A quarterfinals today, 6 seed Rock Creek. They're going to be taking on 3 seed Eudora. at 5 o'clock. Meanwhile, 4A State Baseball is also in Salina, and that'll feature the 1 seed, the Rock Creek Mustangs, who set a program record for most wins in the regular season. They now have 25 on the year, which is the second most wins in the entire state. Rock Creek today will take on 8 seed Tonganoxie. They'll have the first game at 11 a.m. Winner of that game will play the winner of Lewisburg and Paola in the semifinals tomorrow at 11 a.m. The Royals wrap up a 6-game homestand and a 3-game series against the Detroit Tigers yesterday. With a recap, here is Steve Stewart.
The Royals wrapped up their second perfect homestand of the season after an 8-3 win over Detroit yesterday. Royals starter Cole Reagans worked 6 scoreless frames, allowing just 1 hit, striking out a career-high 12. Royals batters putting up 8 runs on 9 hits, including a leadoff homer by Nelson Velasquez in the 4th inning. Freddie Fermin with 2 hits, including a double and 3 RBIs. Bobby Witt Jr. a single, a double, and 2 RBIs. KC finishing a 6-0 homestand.
The Royals are off today. Friday, they start a series against the Tampa Bay Rays in Tampa. While pregame coverage on Friday beginning at 5 o'clock, the Royals are now 32-19. Patrick Mahomes defended the character of Kansas City Chiefs kicker Harrison Butker during the team's opening week of OTAs on Wednesday. Butker became embroiled in controversy for comments he made during a commencement address this month at Benedictine College. During his 20-minute speech, Butker addressed female graduates in the audience about the most diabolical lies they have been told, and using his wife, Isabel Butker, as an example, that the graduates should be mostly excited to take on the vocation of homemaker. Here's Mahomes on Butker.
There's certain things that he said that I don't necessarily agree with, but I understand the person that he is, and he's trying to do whatever he can to lead people in the right direction, and that might not be the same values as I have, but at the same time, I'm going to judge him by the character that he shows every single day. That's a great person, and we'll continue to move along and try to help build each other up to make ourselves better every single day.
Game 1 of the Western Conference Finals in the NBA, the Mavericks defeat the Minnesota Timberwolves in Minnesota, 108-105. Game 2 is Friday night. I'm Mitch Fortner with sports on News Radio KMAN.